Hey, 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 welcome, welcome. It's Friday Reads Live. So, we're here to talk about what we're reading today, this weekend, and sometimes into the following week. So, waiting for people to come into the chat. This week of reading has been pretty good. It could have been a lot better, but I'm not going to complain. Hello, Amalola. How are you? Welcome. What are you reading? Um, so as I was saying, my reading has been going pretty good. This weekend, I'll be finishing tonight. Country Place. I have about 50 more pages to read in this. I have thoughts. And this one I will be starting tomorrow, which is a different drummer. This will be my second reading of a different drummer, and we will be discussing this on Sunday in the Read So Lit Patreon book club. I cannot wait to hear what you guys have to say about different drummer. I love this book so much. So that's what your girl is reading today and this weekend. So, oh, great. Musical Tati is in the house. Patrice is in the house as well. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, Teresa. How are you? What's everybody reading? Hello, Tracy. How are you? Rosa, welcome. So I'm surrounded by stacks of books because I'll be doing the bingo card that I made for you guys for Read So Late. Now, this is the bingo card. Y'all can use this all year round. I mean, it's not just for February. It's not. So I have some recommendations that I'll be sharing with you guys, and I hope you guys have some recommendations of your own as well. Um, oh, hello, Alicia. How are you? Welcome. Yes. I love this name. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Hello for you. Welcome. Happy Friday. What are you guys reading? Nicole, how are you? Rosa said, can't wait to talk about, yeah, Country Place. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting. Hello, Curtis. Welcome. How are you? Happy Friday. Cher said, just finished How to Live Free in Dangerous World by Shayla Lawson, and it was on fire. Best book. Oh, best book I have read this year. Very, very nice. Okay. Finishing up You Dreamed by Alvaro Enrique, I guess. Oh, and it's meh. Okay. All right. All right. Well, you got 1 out of 2 ain't bad. 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Hello, Birdie. How are you? Happy Friday. Birdie's finishing up Aftermath, which is a dystopian written by LeVar Burton. Okay. That sounds really good. Hello, Fatima. Welcome. How are you? Happy Friday. Mm, how, buddy? So let's hear it. I want to hear what everybody's reading. I'm Lola, Patrice, Tracy, Tatiana. What y'all reading? What's everybody reading? Okay, so Alicia, different drummer. Boom. But it's short. It's short. So I know you're happy about that. Um, Teresa said, still on a romance kick. Okay. Needed light reading to help combat my stress. Yeah, I understand that totally. Just finished book 2 of the Wright Brothers series by Christina C. Jones. Okay, I don't really know it. I don't read Christina C. Jones, but yeah, I've heard of her before. Totally forgot about Country. Oh no! Well, Country Place is really short. It's only 200 and what, 36 pages? 62 pages? 262 pages. Come on, you can read that in 2 sittings probably. Um, yeah, I know. Gonna go, wait, I forgot about LeVar Burton's book. Um, oh wait, you're reading comment is above. Wait, I must have missed it. Uh, oh, okay, I missed it. Okay, Amalola is reading Country Place, A Different Drummer, and Discretion by Faiza Gwyn. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know her, Algerian writer, Faiza Gwyn, yeah. She's the one that also did the other one. What was it called? Ugh, I can't remember. The title is escaping me. Ugh, I can't remember, but yeah, I know who she is. Let's see who else is up. Hello, DL. How are you? Welcome, Bukola. How are you guys? What are you reading? Let's see. Hello, Lex. Welcome. The Trials of Mrs. Rhinelander by Denny S. Bryce. Yeah, historical fiction. Yeah, I think I recognize this title. Let's see. Teresa says, I'm going to order Country Place and a different drummer right now. Okay, well, go ahead, girl. They both excellent. Uh, let's. Bukola said, reading The Reformatory by Tananary Dew. Um, discretion. Why discretion? Yeah, a lot of people have been reading that book since I hear it. Yeah, Men Don't Cry. That's the one I was trying to think of. I have that one in English on my shelf. I haven't read that one yet though. Let's see. DL says read Frenemies with Benefits by Cynthia Williams was okay. Had to read because the audio narrator for game. Oh, okay. Now listening to a thriller arc, kind of bored. Might bounce around a bit. Okay, in it. Okay, so it's not really floating your boat like that. Let's see. Oh, writing, reading. Soul is here. Welcome. Uh, let's see. Schedule change. Very nice. Glad. Welcome. Tell us what you're reading. If you are reading anything. If you're not, no problem. Curtis said, I am currently reading The Measure of a Man. I heard that one is a biography of Sidney Poitier and Island Queen by Vanessa Riley. Okay, we talked about Vanessa Riley a little bit last week with DL about when we are talking about romances. I think she mentioned that Vanessa Riley has a very good Regency series. If we're interested in reading romance from Vanessa Riley, Island Queen is more her historical fiction that she's been reading, that she's been writing recently. Had to DNF The Mayor of Maxwell Street by Avery Cunningham. Oh, I don't even know that one. Unfortunately. Okay, I don't recognize it, the title. Nicole said, I think I'm going to read Born on a Tuesday. Oh my God, I love that book. Oh, that's one of my favorite books. I love L. Nathan John. So good. Or Disappearing Acts. That one I need to read Disappearing Acts. That's one that I have not read. But I highly recommend Born on a Tuesday. That one is really good. Okay, so Amala said both Country Place and A Different Drummer are funny. Yeah, they're funny in their own ways. Funny, but not really. Um, yeah, funny, but not really. I guess you could say Country Place to me is could be fun, not much. But yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about it, girl. We gonna talk about it. Um, Amala said, not what I expected because I went in blind. That's fine. I mean, I feel like going in blind to these two novels. I mean, I didn't know that much about Country Place either. I knew a little bit when I suggested it to you guys for the vote. Um, but I don't. I think it's good to go in not knowing anything. You have a better. You can then formulate your own ideas around the storyline, particularly A Different Drummer. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. Bernie M said, I'm reading the love lyric of Katrina Forrest. Okay, I don't know that. This sounds like a romance. I just finished Ghost Roots by Pimi Aguda. It is a really good African short story collection. Okay, very nice. Tatiana said, I think I'm going to start the reformatory next month. My reading has been so much better, but I think I overdid it. Like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, all right. Rosa said to Teresa, Country Place is a page turner. Yeah. You can knock it out in 2 days. That's what I think too. Lex said that wife in Country Place was a trip. Have you read any of her other works? No, I have not. This will be my first Anne Petrie. Amalola said, I enjoy Vanessa Riley's historical fiction a lot. Okay, so that's good to know. When I say funny, I don't mean humorous. Okay, I know. Funny. Yeah. Um, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts on both of them. I mean, I feel like they're two novels that that are very much like eating like a very giant cake with lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of layers. So many things to talk about. Uh, yeah, Tatiana said blind reading is a privilege. Girl, don't you know it? 'Cause there's hardly anything you can like mention if somebody hasn't already read it and is already talking about it. Yes, it said Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black is going to be in my top 10. Perfect. Yeah, I know. I caught that. I ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing about your spelling, Tatiana. uh, oh yeah. So yes, since I can't wait to read Isaac's song. Very good. Tatiana says I plan to read The Street and the Narrows before the end of the year. Yeah, me too. I'm reading all of her books this year. Uh, Nicole said it was fun at the end. I know, right? It was fun until they wasn't fun. Okay. um, yeah. Oh, you haven't finished a different. Yeah, you'll finish it. It reads. I feel like it reads. I when I read it the first time, I read it so that Christy and I could discuss it for the podcast. So I highly recommend that once you finish reading A Different Drummer, you go listen to the podcast, that episode that I did with Christy on Brown Girls Booking. We had a blast talking about that book. Okay, so Teresa said, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on The Street. That's the one I have read by her, but definitely looking forward to Country Place. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'll let you know. Don't worry. Writing Reading Soul says I'm reading Our Secret Society by Tanisha Ford. Okay, it's about Molly Moon, a black woman who founded the Heavenly Guild. Okay, lots of money and glamour. Okay, all righty. Hello, Celeste. How are you? What are you reading? Let's see. Lex said, had anyone read Junie yet by Aaron Crosby Eckstein? No, it's not on my radar for the moment. Somebody else maybe in here has read it though. Curtis said to Amalola, I'm enjoying Island Queen by Vanessa Riley very much. Looking forward to reading more historical fiction by her. She has another one. It takes place in Haiti, I think it is. I can't remember the name of it though. That she wrote right after this Island Queen one. I can't remember the name of the title though. Celeste said, reading is off. Only read about 3 books this month. Well, 3 books, that's better than zero. Look, we have to have like I we feel bad when we have moments where we only read like one or two or no books, but it's kind of normal because you're gonna have a down moment where you don't read as many books as you normally read. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just need a break or you're doing other things, you're living life. Yeah, don't sweat it. 3 books is great. That's better than what most people read. Most people so Celeste had picked up Death of an Author currently. Okay. Amalula said to Curtis, Queen of Exiles. That's the one I was thinking of. It's also very good. Island Queen loved that too. Hello, Freeform lady. How are you? Tatiana, hell, I've read one so far and there are 7 days left. Look. I mean, and I feel like don't sweat it. You've been out in the streets. What you been doing? You could be in the house doing nothing, as far as I'm concerned. And if you don't read no books, that's just a day where you don't read no books. It's fine. It is what it is. Amala said, I thought February was going to be slow, but ended up reading all through both my 11-hour flights. Well, 11-hour flight, yeah, you could get some books read for sure. Alicia said to Lex, read Junie. It's a different kind of slave narrative, has a ghost haunt in it. Oh, okay. All right. All right. DL said, nope, don't sweat it. It is not a race or a contest. That's what I'm talking about. That's why DL, my girl, she understands totally what I'm saying. Teresa said, it's fine when we don't read as much because we are professional readers in this group. So it all balances out. Yeah, for sure. No, I don't really do ghosts like that. But I have to suck it up for a few ghost stories. But Junie hasn't really been wasn't I don't think it's one that I would, that I was gravitating towards. There are some other ones that I've been very happy to read, that have come out, that I'm looking at. But I'm just mostly just focusing on what's on my shelves because damn, there's some stuff on my shelves that need to be read. Yeah, DL said your brain needs a break now and then for sure. And Lady says, trying to finish A Country Place before the chat. I'm also reading What You Leave Behind by Wanda M. Morris. Oh, nice. You're gonna finish it. I'm sure you'll finish it, lady. It's once you start reading it, it goes pretty fast. Let's see. DL said, "Oh, I did listen to Junie this week. Enjoyed it." Celeste said, "Wait, Junie is a ghost story." Well, that's what Alicia said. She said they got a haunt in it. So yeah. She said it was a different kind of slave narrative with a haunt. Teresa said the reformatory is mild with the ghost, an excellent exception to read. I mean, I haven't heard a bad word about the reform. One bad word. So I feel like that book must be like a major 5-star read because literally have heard no one say anything bad about it. DL said it is. I don't do ghosts, but I enjoyed it. Okay, so she don't do ghosts either. Amalota said I do think I can do the kind of ghosts we had in House of Urzuli. Speaking of House of Urzuli, I was looking for my copy and couldn't find it, but I thoroughly enjoyed the House of Urzuli. I ain't have a problem with it. Patrice said yes, Reformatory was a 5-star read. Well, I mean, literally, I have heard no one say a bad thing about that book, so it must be excellent. I know quite Thickum's book is pretty big. Heard anyone say, "Oh my God, it's too long" or anything. Nothing bad about that book. So I feel like that's one that you can go get into and not worry about it, fizzling out or something like that. I just haven't heard anyone say anything bad about it. And a lot of people that I follow have read that book. So, there's one for people that are watching. If you want, a good, sure thing, the reformatory to Nana Reeve do. Um, Celeste said, I mean, I went to a different book club meetup just because they discussed the reformatory. Oh wow, okay, cool. Tinley said, I'm on the reformatory bandwagon, two excellent books. There you go. Here you go. There's nothing bad about it. So I feel like that's like a sure thing. A sure thing. I'm not so sure about all the new books that are going to come out this year, but we'll see. I think the jury is still out on Harlem Rhapsody. Because I mean, at one point I saw the books everybody was showing that they had the book or whatever, and then now that they've had time to read the book and everything, I ain't heard nothing. So I don't know what to think about Harlem Rhapsody. I don't know. I'm kind of dubious now because I don't hear people yelling on the rooftop they loved it. So I don't know. Um, let's see. I'm a little said, okay, just checked and it's showing up now. Okay. Yeah, yeah, exactly. See, I'm not the only one that hasn't heard anything. Mm. Well, I heard one person say something, but I ain't saying who it is. I ain't saying what they said, because it's just one person. But I ain't heard nobody else talk about that book, like saying they loved it, didn't like it, or nothing. I don't know what to think. Um, DL said, I started Harlem Rhapsody and it did not do anything for me. Just wasn't in the mood for it. Okay, so that's one. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Celeste said, I enjoyed Harlem Rhapsody. Review posted. Okay, you the only one, girl. You the only one. Tatiana said, I've been on an avid reader of BCM, Victoria Christopher Murray. Lex said, I liked Harlem Rhapsody. It was good. I did a reading blog on it. Okay, that's two. Alicia said, I plan to read Harlem. Okay, you haven't read it yet. Next week, I will let you know what I think. Please do. I would love to know. Celeste said, you will love it once you get past the mess and see her account. I mean, I know I love Jesse Redmond Fawcett. So yeah, yeah, I ain't got a problem with that. That I know. The messiness is the messiness. I mean, but a lot of people like that in these kinds of stories. They like that kind of the conflict and everything. So yeah, I just expected that once it came out, that it would have gotten a big bang, like some other books that we know that have come out. Where everybody was reading them. But this one, it's just I don't know. Mm-mm. I'm thinking it's kind of it's not what people were expecting. But we'll see. Bernie said, if you can get past Martin Luther King's mess, you can get past Jesse's mess too. Okay, well, you see, there you go. Celeste said, then you will love it for sure. Well, okay, I don't know about for sure, but if I get around to it, I'll let you know what I think if I get around to it. It's not a priority, but yeah, we'll see. So, has everybody said what they're reading? If everybody said what they're reading, I'm gonna go and start doing some recs from the bingo card right there. So I've got my bingo card out. Let me put this here. Oh, one. There's a massive stack of books. Couple massive stacks of books. Okay. All right. So the first horizontal row, we have James Baldwin. So James Baldwin, I recommend this one right here. If Beale Street Could Talk. I think a lot of people in here have read this one. I really enjoyed this one a lot. The very, I felt like when I was reading it, it felt like a very melancholy novel, but I still really liked it, and I liked the way he wrote community in this story. I highly recommend it if you haven't read it, and it is not long. It's not even 200 pages. I think it's like 197 pages. Super short, but very very powerful. Okay, the other one I'm recommending is this one. I haven't read this one yet, but it's high up on my list to read, which is Going to Meet the Man. This one I've had for quite a while and just have not had the time to pick this one up, but I know it's going to be good. Has anybody in here read this one, Going to Meet the Man? If they have, what did they think of this one? Because I know it's going to be really good. For me, Jesse Redmond Fawcett, I would recommend There Is Confusion. It's really good. Okay, the next one on the bingo card is music or dance theme. So I have one that I have read and one that I have not read yet. This is the one that I recommend that I have read, which is Sing Her Name by Rosalind Story. This is a very interesting novel which follows a sister and brother who are from, if I remember correctly, it was Louisiana. They There's something happens with the brother, and at the same time, they are forced to leave because of Katrina, Hurricane Katrina, and so they go up north. And so we follow this sister and brother, and the sister is a beautiful singer, but she isn't quite aware of how good she really is. And so the moves on. You have to do the rest. But it's done really well. It's a very good story. And Rosalind's story is a feminist, and she writes a lot about music, fiction, and nonfiction. So that's in her name. And the one that I have not read yet is this one, which is Dances by Nicole Cuffey, which I picked up when it came out. And it is also a debut. And I have not read this one. This one came out in 2023. Let's see. So it's talking about a ballet dancer called Cece Cordell, who's 22 years old, and she is promoted to principal, ballerina at the New York City Ballet. So it's all about that. It's a fiction novel about that. So I'm kind of interested in reading this one this year as well. So that's another one, which has to do with the prompt music or dance theme. Now, there's another one I could think of, which is Opal and Nev, which I think a lot of people have read as well. Um, if you haven't read that one, so those are the two that I could come up with. I couldn't think of anything else except for Opal and Nev. There might be. Oh, there's also Kill 'Em and Leave, which is by James McBride, and that one is about James Brown. So that's another one. I forgot about that one, but that's another one. It's like it has like a music theme. Okay, that's interesting. Nicole says the street has a music part too. Okay, there you go. I did not know. Well, I'm gonna find out later on this year because that's one of the ones I'm definitely going to read this year. Okay, so the next prompt is Harlem Renaissance. Okay, for that one, we have, of course, this one. There is Confusion, Jesse Redmond Fawcett. This is the mint edition. This one is a really read, and um, this is first and only book I've read so far by Jesse Redmond Fawcett because I have Plum Bun, but the copy I have is just wackadoodles on the eyes. So I have to get another one. Hopefully, I can get a mint edition of Plum Bum to add to this collection. But I highly recommend this one. It's really good. Okay, the other one I have is this one right here, which is Romance in Marseille by Claude McKay. This one was this one is really interesting. So it's a how do you say? It's a black guy who stows away on a ship on his way to New York, I think it is. So what happens is they wind up putting him in a part of the ship that's really, really cold, and he losing his legs because they freeze. And then from there, things happen for this man, and things change. And then he goes back to Marseille, and he tries to pick up his life where he left off, and it basically is a story about that. And it takes place in and around the port of Marseille. Very, very good read. It's got a lot of different types of communities in it, and it's a really interesting way of talking about people of color. I really like this one a lot. Read Claude McKay, Romance in Marseille. I highly recommend it. This one is really, really good. Christy and I read this for the podcast, and we both really enjoyed it. Okay, so what do we have for debut novel? I picked up this one right here, which is Remembered by Yvonne Battle Felton. I don't think, I think she has a new book. Either it came out last year or it's coming out this year. Um, but this one I really enjoy. Um, it takes place in 1910 in Philadelphia, and you follow this story of this man. It's in a black community, and there's like an accident that happens with like a rail car, streetcar, whatever. And it's from there that we follow this community and we see the injustices that happen to them all around this accident that happens. It's done extremely well. I really, really enjoyed this novel, and I was looking forward to her next novel. But unfortunately, I think her next novel is a sci-fi or a horror or something like that. I think it's a horror. So I was like, oh well, not really my cup of tea. But she's a wonderful writer, and this is a wonderful debut if you have not read it. Very, very good book. Okay, the next prompt is memoir. So I picked up this one because I haven't talked about this book in a very long time, which is Buck, a memoir. This is a really good memoir by this guy M.K. Asante, who's like a rapper. He also does things in his community and stuff. This is him right here. Uh, this book is simply written like it's he does it like in chapters, and it feels it feels it feels raw without feeling um like you're like it's so it's so hard to read. It really is a great book to read, and it has like it kind of has an upswing to it, this particular book. And I remember, and I think I read this one years ago when it came out, maybe 2000 and yeah, 2013. I've had this book for a long time. I read it like immediately when it came out, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. I don't think a lot of people talk about it now because it's old, but I think it's still very valid. This particular memoir, so I highly recommend it. Very, very good. And the next memoir I recommend is Somebody's Daughter: A Memory of Ashley C. Ford. This is another memoir that I absolutely enjoyed when it came out, and I stand by this one as being like a 5 star. It's really, really good. This one came out in 2021, and this talks about Ashley Ford and her relationship with her uh, female dominated family. So she's being raised by her and her grandmother. And we're following her at a period like when she's in adolescence and puberty and stuff. And so we get a lot of commentary on what it's like growing up as a black girl and young black girl, and what that can how challenging that can be. And if you with the wrong people, things can happen, and got to be careful. So, and also another thing is her father is in prison, and that also is like a hole in her life that her father is in prison, and her mother and her grandmother don't quite know how to pick up the cues on their daughter, on Ashley. And so yeah, it's very, very good. There's a couple of scenes that kind of like hurt my heart like terribly, but it's still a really, really good book. And Ashley C. Ford is a very interesting person. I used to follow her pretty closely on IG. I don't know if she's still on IG though, but I highly recommend this one. Very, very good. Okay, so that's the first row. The second row, We have first on the second row, is we have a free space. So for the free space, I'm going to show you my copy of Kindred. This is my Folio Society of edition of Kindred, and I absolutely love this edition. So when you open it up, it looks like that, and then you have these pictures in between. Let me see if I can find more like this. Look at this one. And then you have like this. I absolutely love this edition of Folio. Um, if you ever want to get a folio, that's how it looks on the spine. If you ever want to get a folio, this is one to purchase. It's not cheap, but I treated myself, and I have no regrets. I absolutely love this one. All right, so that's the free space. All right, now next horror. Now I could not find my copy of House of Urzuli. I'm a bit disappointed. I don't know where it is. House of Urzuli, first one is horror. So I'm going to see if I can show you a picture of it. Okay, yeah, here. What? Wait. Yeah, here it is. Okay, here. That's what the cover looks like. So this is a book that's by Kristen Imani Kasai. Kasai is Kasai. And we read this in my book club on Patreon. And this was a book, it's set in the 1850s. And it's about a couple that is kind of cursed, I guess you could say. And it's in they're living in like a Creole style plantation, and there's a bit of voodoo in there and some ghosts, and that's some pretty, yeah, intense scenes happening in this novel. I guess you could say it's a light horror. It's not full on horror, but it's a wild ride. Yeah, like Malua said, I liked it though. I thought it was. It's also another thing is it's written in epistolary format. So you're getting like letters, or I think it's either letters or diary entries of from one of the characters. Um, but very, 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 very well done. This novel. I don't know where my novel is. I hope I didn't do something stupid and lend it to somebody. That would be really dumb. All right. The next one I picked up was this one, Lone Women, because it's the only other thing that I have that's close to being horror-ish. Is this one, Victor Laval, which we all had in the book club on Patreon, and I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I wasn't expecting to really like it, but I really got put into this one. The main character, wait, what was her name? Is Adelaide Henry. Adelaide Henry carries an enormous steamer trunk with her wherever she goes. It's locked at all times because when the people around Adelaide start to disappear. So it's set in 1915, and Adelaide leaves her home and goes out west, and that's where the story, sort of takes off. I quite like this one. I don't know what y'all thought about it. But that's the closest thing I have to horror, other than House of Urzuli. So there you have it. Okay, so next one is romance. Okay, romance. I just picked up these two right here. This is Groove and Fever by Geneva Holiday. Y'all know who that is? Geneva Holiday. Who is Geneva Holiday? Does anybody know? Geneva Holiday. Who's Geneva Holiday? Yes, Geneva Holiday is Bernice L. McFadden. So these were her romance. These are two of them because there are a couple of other ones as well. So these are the two that I own, and these are mass market paperbacks because that's all I could find when I was looking for them. I have not yet read these, but I hear they're very, very good. Um, I think these go in a certain order though. I think it's Groove and then Fever, if I'm not mistaken. If that's wrong, somebody correct me. But I think these are in the same. It's in a series. This, yeah. So that's all I have for romance. Sorry, I don't read romance like that. All right. Next, we have new author to you. Okay, so I have two. So I have this one, which is Saint Monkey by Jacinda Townsend. This book has been on my shelf for a good old while, and this is a book that I just need to break down and read the damn thing. So she is actually new to me because I have not read. I bought this in 2014 and it's just sitting around. So I'm gonna need to, do something about this because this has been sitting around too long. So this one, it says 14-year-old Audrey Martin with her Poindexter glasses in her head, humming the three-quarter meter of gospel music, knows she'll never get out of Kentucky. But when her fingers touch the piano keys, the whole church trembles. Her best friend Caroline daydreams about Hollywood stardom, but both girls feel destined to languish in a slow moving stopover town in Montgomery County. Okay, so it's about jazz. It's like during the jazz era. It's one they both want to be famous, but I one of them is actually going to get famous. I guess it's something like that. But yeah, so that's this one, new to me. Now, this other one, I don't know where I picked this one up from. I don't know if this is romance. I don't know if this is contemporary. I don't know what it is. Maybe somebody in here knows what it is. Zachary's Wings by Rosemary Robotham. Robotham. Yeah, this one. Does anybody has anybody read this one or know anything about it? Zachary's Wings. I don't know. You know, it feels like it might be a romance. But I'm not really sure. Let's see, because it says when Zachary and Corey meet, their attraction is immediate and powerful, but their passionate affair becomes increasingly troubled by the unresolved conflicts that plague both their lives. Zach is an amiable social worker from a chaotic working class family who bears the emotional burdens of those around him, while Corey is a Jamaican born Ivy League educated reporter with a fiercely competent exterior that masks her inner turmoil. In this masterful and moving first novel, so it's a debut, Rosemary Robotham explores questions of race, class, sexuality, as well as the obstacles imposed by society and the lovers themselves as they attempt to claim true and lasting love. Okay, now, technically, this sounds like it could be a romance, but since now, because DL said so in the last chat we had, she said romances have happy endings. I don't know. Has anybody heard of this book? I don't know. So this might be something to kind of figure out. I might have to like, try to read this one. It's not very long. It's just under 300, like 280 pages. But it might even be a romance. It just doesn't sound like it ends well. I don't know. It just sounds like it doesn't end well. Now, It is blurred by Edwige Jontica. A beautiful first novel, Zachary's Wings, will stir your innermost passions and joys. Okay. Um, Also blurred by Tina McElroy Ansa, a gem of a novel, a world of passion and tenderness, of fast city living and tender family moments. Okay. So whenever I get around to this, I'll let you know. But I don't know. I'm not sure if that's a romance or what it is. But it sounds good all the same. All right. The next one we have Green Cover. Okay, so this one is cool. Green Cover, that's a no-brainer, of course. Leonard Pitts Jr., 54 Miles. This is the second part to The Last Thing You Surrender. This is number one. This is number two. Get on it. But I talk about it all the time. All right, the next screen book I have is this one right here, which is like Trees Walking by Rabbi Howard. We read this as a read along for one of the February read alongs, and it was really, really good. This novel. It's about something that happens in a small southern town, and the main family of this particular novel, they have a mortuary service, and so it is around the sons of this particular novel, and it's very very good. It's very very powerful, and it's a well worth the read. This one, um, and it's not as traumatic as you're thinking it's going to be. It does have some trauma in it, but it's not to the extent that you may think. But I highly recommend this one. Very, very good. All right. Okay. So that's the second row. Okay. The third row, we start with a new release. So, new release Glory Days by Danielle Arsenault. So, this is part two in the Glory Broussard mystery series. The first book was called Glory B, and this one, Glory Days, will be out on March 4th. So this is probably what I'm going to start my March read with is Glory Days. I absolutely enjoyed reading. This is like a cozy mystery. It's done really well. Glory Broussard is a mess. She's just like so funny, and it's just done really really well. I highly recommend this one. Really really good. Yeah, I got it early. They sent it to me. They were very they said, "Oh, do you want this?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I want it." So they sent it. Yeah, I love this cover too because if you notice, you can't see her face. And if you remember in Glory B, you can't see her face either. It has a hat covering the face. And I like that because that gives us the possibility as readers to imagine what we think that she looks like, you know, because she's got the hat on and everything, and so we can think of what Glory B looks like on our own. And I think that's really good because I may think something different from someone else. So I'm very excited about getting to this one for sure. Okay, let's see. All right, so the next one is 5 Years on Your Shelf. All right, so I have this one, Jonas Gordvine, Zora Neale Hurston. Yeah, I need to get it. I need to get on it and read it. I really like this copy, and it should be really. Oh, it's so good. Like the font size is just everything. So, yeah, I need to get on to this one because I have been neglecting Zora, and I need to change that. So, this is the one that I found that has been on my like on my bookshelf for 5 years. All right, the next one is Queen Tony. So we're gonna keep that short and sweet. The Bluest Eye, of course. I love this copy. Mm. This is the first novel I read by person, and it's one that it like profoundly yeah, marked me. And I had to get this cover. Come on now, look at Tony. So good. And the second one is this one, Home. This is one I know a lot of people don't talk about a lot, but I particularly like. Okay, now I'm be honest. She could have written me 50 more pages to this and better, but I'm still not mad at her. I think of some of her newer work, this one is one that I did appreciate a lot. So yeah, I highly recommend No Home if you haven't read it. Definitely read that one. All right, next we have graphic novel. Now you know I love to be graphic novel now. I'll be reading graphic novels all the time. Now, what have I got? This one right here. Y'all know the Boondocks, right? So I like reading like just graphic novels like this, like Boondocks. I can just pick that up and just read. You don't have to read all of it, but I'll read like a portion of it, and it'll just, yeah, it'll just fill in, some hours of reading. I really like it though. So that's one that I have. Another one is this one, which is Storm, and that was by Eric. This is one that was done by Eric Jerome Dickey. It looks like this. The drawings are really good in this one, actually. The story on this one too. So that's this one, Eric Jerome Dickey, Storm. And the last one I have is this one right here, which is Incognito. This is Matt Johnson, Incognito Renaissance. So this is about a journalist, and he is a journalist in a newspaper, in a black newspaper in New York, and he is white passing. So he goes down south and he finds out when the lynchings are happening, and then he goes and he finds out who it is that's being lynched and why, and he tries to take down the names of the people that participate in the lynching. And it's really, really good. This one, really, really, really good. I wish he would continue the series, but he followed up with Renaissance, and he has not done another one since. I don't know what's going on. Why he had continued that, but this one is good too. Renaissance. It's all takes place in Harlem, and it's a murder mystery. It's really, really good. So those are the graphic novels. All right, next we have book and series. That's a no-brainer. Walter Mosley, of course. Um, I still need to get back to this one. I feel like I will be getting back to it though. In March, I'm gonna get back to it. I need to get on to a little yellow dog. That's where I stopped. I need to get onto that one. So there's this one, and then the other series, of course, is this one, Blanche on the Lamb, Blanche White series. It's a mystery series. Blanche White is the star of that series. Sadly, there are only 4 books in that series. So yeah, read them and enjoy. They're really fantastic. So that's what we have for series. Let's just see. Yeah, I like the cover of Glory Days. Let's see. That's why I need to read Born on a. Yeah, you need to read Born on a Tuesday. It's excellent. L. Nathan John does a really good job on that story. Okay, yeah, Blanche and the Lamb is really, really good. All right, so that's that one. Um, Now we're gonna go to mystery or thriller. Okay, now I gotta move these around because, bro, piles are like killing me. All right, here we go. Okay, so the first one is mystery or thriller, and I thought of this one, Guide Me Home, which is the third book. Is it in the trilogy? What's it called? This trilogy? I can't remember now. This is Attica Locke. Um, what is it called? The Highway something something series. Let's see if I can find it. Highway 59 series. So you have in here, um, you have Bluebird, Bluebird, Heaven, My Home, and this is the last one, Guide Me Home. I think this is the last one in the series. So I highly recommend that one. I haven't read this one yet, but it's on my list to read for next month, so that I can get that kind of closure I need for this particular series. But done very, very well. It's a different kind of mystery. It's it's never set up like a typical mystery. This is, I call this a literary fiction mystery. That's what I call this. Because you start to read it and it doesn't, she doesn't go by the same kinds of typical tropes and things that you see in a regular mystery. It's always a little different, a little offbeat, and the writing is very serious and very good. I really, really enjoy Attica Locke. So this is the third one, Guide Me Home, Highway 59 series. Okay, the next thing we have is literary fiction. So I picked out two for that. The first one is this one right here, Corregidora, which is by Gail Jones. This was the first Gail Jones book that I read. I don't remember when that was, back in what year that was. And this book threw me for a loop. It's really intense and it explores this main character. Her and her mother are direct products of slavery, and we see how that has affected the daughter and how like her relationships with men. It's just done super well. It's very intense though. You got to get your mind right. This is not light reading at all. Even though the book is really short, it's still really intense and provokes lots of thoughts about different things. But it is intense. I mean, it's super intense. But I think it's one of her best books, in my opinion. Her new books are not hitting it, if you know what I mean. But her old stuff, yes, this is where it's at. This right here, her old stuff. Okay, the other book I have is this one right here called Red Island House by Andrea Lee. Now, this is an author that I don't hear very many people talking about, but Andrea Lee is a very excellent literary fiction writer. In this one, I think it takes place, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's in, oh, wait, what is that island called? Yeah, Madagascar. And it's a black woman who's married to, I want to say he's Italian. And they go and they buy a house, or should I say, he buys this house on the island of Madagascar. And it's very big, it's got a lot of land around it, and it has all of these people scraping and bowing and, serving them. And you we really see how this black woman has to maneuver being the lady of the house, being a black lady of the house, and how she deals with the people that serve her and take care of, this house and the land around it. And it becomes a little complicated in one part of the book, which makes her think about things, like, to the point where she's questioning if she is where she should be. That, why am I here? Should I really be, married to this man? And should I really be, you know, doing what I'm doing, kind of thing. But it's done really, really well. And if the, Christy and I actually interviewed Andrea Lee when this book came out, it's on my Instagram, but it happened, I want to say it happened 3 years ago. But very, very good novel. Andrea Lee is a very intelligent writer. I do. want to read more of her stuff. I think I have one other book by her. Which one is it? I think I have Interesting Women. That's the other book that I have, and that one is short stories. So she has another book called Lost Hearts in Italy, and then she has Sarah Phillips, which is also a novel, and Russian Journal, which is actually a journal, and Interesting Women, which is a short story. And she lives in Italy, Andrea Lee. But I have something that's very different than what people are used to reading, and and her writing is very, very good. I really enjoyed it. I wish more people talked about Andrea Lee, but yeah, they really don't. So, all right. So, next we have Black male author. So I did two. So the first one is this one. It's Edward P. Jones. Now we read last year The Known World for February, and we really, really enjoyed it so, 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 so much. So I decided to show All on Hagar's Children. This is short stories. This is another one that has gotten loads of great commentary on it. Okay, I bought this one online, and guess what? It was actually signed. It took me 2 years to realize the book was signed. How about that? So this one is a short story collection, and probably will be my next read from Edward P. Jones. So definitely a writer you should pick up if you have not picked up anything from Edward P. Jones. Okay, the other male I'm recommending is Eric Charles May for Bedrock Faith. This one is one that is so, so good, and I'm just always amazed how good this novel is and the fact that people don't really know it. People don't really know it, and then people don't really know who Eric Charles May is. And sadly, Eric Charles May has not written another book. And I keep checking to make sure he hasn't written another one because Akashic Books actually published this one. And so I'm always asking, I always drop them a line every now and then and say, hey, y'all, has Eric written another book? And they're like, no, sorry, he hasn't. I'm like, damn, because his book is really, really good. So this one, it is surrounding a black community, and it's in Chicago. And the main character is Gerald Stewpot Reeves, and he basically is a character who basically terrorizes his neighborhood until finally he does something stupid and goes to jail for it. And then when he comes out of jail, he has supposedly found God. He's found Jesus, and he has his dog, and he comes back to the neighborhood, and everybody's like, oh my God, he's back. So he comes back and he moves in with his mom, and from there, shit goes down. I'm not even going to say anything, but how entertaining this book was, all of the different characters in the neighborhood. You really feel like you're in this black community, this black neighborhood. You start to care about some of the characters in the neighborhood. You definitely don't like Tupac because he's a hot mess, but really, really funny in parts, stuff that will make you mad. It's just really, really good. I highly recommend Bedrock Faith by Eric Charles May. Okay, now what do we got next? We have biography. So I picked up, oh, I didn't bring the other one. Oh, wait, do I have it here? Yeah, I do have it here. Okay, so I have this one first, which is By Her Own Design, which is by Piper Hughley, I think it is. And this is a biography that I've been wanting to check out. It says the incredible untold story of how Anne Lowe, a black woman and granddaughter of slaves, rose above personal struggles and racial prejudice to design and create one of America's most famous wedding dresses of all time for Jackie Kennedy. So yeah, this is one I've been wanting to pick up for a minute. I have not picked it up yet. Let's see. The other one I want to recommend is this one right here. This is Paul Lawrence Dunbar, The Life and Times of a Caged Bird by Jean Andrew Jarrett. I just finished this one at the beginning of February with Patrice. And I must say, this is a very thorough book, but damn, Paul Lawrence Dunbar is trash. I'm just so disappointed in how he was. I'm just so disappointed. I mean, oh Jesus. Well, it is what it is. But the thing about this one that's really cool is as you're reading through, he puts some of his poems in between. Wow, the poems are just fantastic. There's poems all throughout the book, which make it a little interesting read the way it's done. But damn, he was trash. Ooh, Lord. All right, the last one on that row is sci-fi or fantasy, and I picked up one of my faves because I don't really do sci-fi and fantasy like that. But this one right here is definitely one of my faves. It's Dawn Octavia E. Butler, and I love this edition. So cool. This one is about okay. So this is the first book in the Lilith Brood series, or what you call the Xenogenesis. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Series. But I love this one. I love Lilith and the Shady Aliens. Oh my God. So good. Gotta read this one. If I can read this one, you can read this one. Because I don't really do sci-fi like that. But this one I absolutely love this. I've even taught English with this book to some of my teenagers who like sci-fi. I pull this out and I make them read like the first like chapter or two, and they're like, the parents will be calling me outside, like at the end of the day, they were calling me and asking me, what is this author? What is the name of this book? So they can buy it for their kid in English because they like it that much. So I highly recommend this one. It's the planet has had like two nuclear bombs go off or something, destroy everything. Most humans are destroyed. And these aliens come and they recuperate all of the humans that they think that they can help. And so they recuperate the humans, and then they clear their systems up. So like if they have cancer, they ain't got cancer no more. If they have, a broken arm, they fix that broken arm. So everything is fine. And then we follow directly Lilith, and Lilith is in this sterile white room, no door, no visible door, but she feels like she's being watched. Okay. So that's all I'm gonna tell you. Read the book. Okay, read the book. It's really good. All right, let's see what people are saying. I'm trying to break out my beautiful dishes. I spent like half the afternoon trying to find them. um, is Dunbar easy to read? Is what? Oh, you mean this biography? Is it easy to read? I ain't gonna lie. You need to concentrate because what's his name? Gene Andrew Jarrett. He's too thorough. Like he starts talking about everything. And sometimes it's overwhelming. And so you cannot read, like, I like to sit down and read 50 to 100 pages in one sitting. And this one, I was reading like 30 pages in one sitting. And I was like, whew, because it was so much to take in and remember. He goes in and it's so thorough. So you might want to take this one and get it or get this one on audio alongside the book because it'll help you with reading. But I'm just like so thorough on everything, all his side business, on his writing. You learn all kinds of cool stuff. Like I did not know there were black Masons. I didn't know, you know. I did not know he was in school with Orville and Orville Wright. You know, I didn't know he was with the Wright brothers in school. You know, so you learn a lot of really cool things. I think it's a great book to learn more about Paul Lawrence Dunbar, but you're not gonna be happy when you learn everything. That's all I'm gonna say because he was trash. So yeah, but I mean I gave it a three and a half because it is not it's not I mean it could be a little less dry in my opinion. That's from my point of view. I think Patrice gave it a four. She just loved all the information, but I had difficulty with like the writing. It was just so much he was telling me, and it was just a lot to kind of get through. Yeah, he was trash. I mean, I'm not. It ain't even funny like that. Like he was straight up trash. Okay, there's no other way to describe it. Um, I don't. I don't like science fiction, but I had to read. I don't remember why I had to read. I had to read Dawn for something, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was really good, and I read the other two as well. I read. I don't know what the second one and the third one in that series. They got progressively worse for me, but Dawn will always be one of my favorites. Always. I'm not a lover of science fiction for many reasons that I don't feel like I can concentrate on that so much while I'm reading. Although Dawn, yeah, this was good. This worked really well for me. For some reason, I could follow this with no problem. Understood exactly what was going on, and it was very enjoyable to read because it's kind of like a mystery at the same time, a little bit. But am I reading any other sci-fi? Hell no. Come on now, you know me. All right, nonfiction. So I picked up this one, 400 Souls, because this is the one that I have not read yet, and I feel bad that I haven't read this yet. It's on my TBR to read, this year because, like, what am I waiting for? 400 Souls by Ibram X. Kendi and Keisha N. Blaine. I think you all know this one. A lot of people, I think some people in here have read this one. But it has like a different, it talks about a different person, each chapter is a different person. So I highly recommend this one. And I love this edition. This was the UK edition. I know the US edition looks differently, but this is the UK edition. All right. Next, we have LGBTQ. Of course, another country. Duh. This is the one. I mean, I talk about this book all the time. It's very, very interesting. Another country, exploring relationships, we're exploring also gay relationships, but also race as well, class. It's done really, really well. But highly recommended. As you can see, I have a lot of tabs. I read it for the second time this uh, past year with my book club on Patreon. We had a really good discussion of this one. Okay, my next LGBTQ is this one right here, The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. If you have not read this one, I highly recommend it. Now, I highly recommend it for people who love literary fiction. If you do not love literary fiction, abstain. Okay? Don't say I hadn't told you nothing. Okay? If you don't like reading literary fiction, then skip this one. Okay? This one, if you love literary fiction, is done so well. This is the kind of book where, okay, I only read this once, but I'm hankering to read it again because I know that I'm going to see more stuff in this book than I saw the first time. And another thing is, this book is pretty well linked up to the Bible and to um, different things that happen in the Bible and different quotes from the Bible. Highly recommend it. It's a very good story. It's about two black men that are slaves, and they are supposed to, or their job is to impregnate the women, the black women on the plantation. But these two men are both, they're having a relationship. And so it talks about what happens around that whole idea. But it's done very, very well. Robert Jones Jr. did an excellent job on this book. The writing is very good. The storytelling, everything is just spot on. And like I said, I need to read it again to get into the religious aspect, the biblical aspect that is running throughout this book. Highly recommend this one. Definitely a good read. All right, LGBTQ. All right, next, my free space is One Blood by Deneen Milner. Now, this is one that we read last summer, and the Read So Lit read along, and we all thoroughly enjoyed this one. Wonderful story about women, generations of women, four generations. You can see them there. Um, but the story is just gripping and hard to put down. It's one where you see the plight of each woman in each generation, what their plight is, and if they have the gift, and if they have the gift, how do they deal with having the gift? Just really, really good. I highly recommend this one. It's kind of on the long side, but you know what? I didn't feel like it was long when I was reading it. When I was reading it, it felt like it was going fast. And I think it's because you have moments where you just want to keep reading to find out what's going to happen next. And before you know it, you're halfway through the book. I highly recommend this one. It's really good. The audio is good for, because I've seen Mary Burrell says I have One Blood in my Audible list. Yeah, the Audible is good for this one for sure. It's very good. I can't remember if it's what's her name is reading it. That we love so much. You know, the one who reads Audible books really well. My other free space is this one right here. This is one I have not read yet, which is Colored Television by Dan Z. Senna. This is one that I hope to read very soon. This is a new one out by her. It came out, I think, last year. Uh, Television, I think. Did it come out last year? Yeah. It came out last year, and Dancy Senna is married to Percival Everett. So I'm expecting this one to be a little off the wall. I'm going in a little blind on this one. I'm thinking it's got some satire in it or something. But when I'm done, I'll let you know. Okay, so the next one is classic. And so I picked this one right here, which is Not Without Laughter, which is a Langston Hughes. I picked this one up, I think it might have been last year, and hadn't read it yet because I really wanted to read something else um, by Langston Hughes that wasn't poetry. So I saw this one in this particular edition. This is, I don't know what they call this. I can't remember what they call this edition. I think it's called the Ex Libris edition. Um, yeah, I think it's Ex Libris, which is a Penguin edition. And I saw this one and I said, oh, Not Without Laughter. Yeah, that's a novel. Let me jump on it. So yeah, and the introduction is written by April Flournoy. So this is what I was in for classic. Has anybody read this one yet? Not Without Laughter? Okay, last but not least, we have books published in 60s. So the first one I have is this one right here, A Different Drummer. This is by William Melvin Kelly, which I am currently rereading this weekend. And this one was published in 1962, I think it is. So this one is how do you say, it's talks about a small town in the South. I don't think it's named, but small town, and there's a main character who has his own farm, and he basically kills all of his crops, puts down all of his animals, packs up his his ride, his wife, and they get the hell out of Dodge. And nobody is nobody is really thinking that they're pretty much perplexed. All the white people are perplexed. They're like, "Well, why? Why are they? Why is this man, killing off his crop, burning his house down? Why is he leaving? Where is he going?" Well, that starts a chain reaction, and other black people in the town start to pack up shit and leave as well. And that's the beginning of a different drama. And you have to read the rest to find out what happens. But very, very good novel. It's short, sweet, but to the point. He does not spare any thoughts anywhere. Nothing is left hanging. He covers everything. It's done extremely well. Short novel. It's just 205 pages. I highly recommend. Okay, the other one, this one right here, which is Jubilee by Margaret Walker. I think a lot of you know this one that are in the chat. Um, this one, I think it was published in 1966. I read this one. I don't remember when I read this one. A while ago. I mean, I read it with a bunch of people from BookTube, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I gave it a 3.5. Um, yeah, I think I gave it a 3.5. I can't remember now exactly what bothered me about. I think it was the main character. She was just kind of like funny. What was it? Viry, yeah, Viry. Viry, who kept forgetting that she was a slave. She was funny, Viry. Always forgetting that. I kept saying, Viry, that can't happen. You're a slave girl. I kept saying that in my head the whole time, and it was just starting to get annoying. But yeah, it was good. This one, it's good. It's a good read. It's a classic, and yeah, it's a pretty easy read too. Even though it's kind of long. I don't remember it being this long, but it is. It's almost 500 pages, 497 pages. But I would highly recommend you read this one if you want like a classic slave novel. This could be a good one to go with. So that is it. That is the entire bingo card that we've done. Let me know what you think. Want to recommend? Please do recommend. Um, yeah, definitely. Yes, her man is Percival Everett. Um, Let me see what you guys are saying. Mm, mm. Okay, Happy Land by Dylan Perkins Valdez. I'm glad you have recommended that one. I didn't think about that one, but yeah, that's a new one. Is it already out? That one, Happy Land. Did it come out last year? Or is it coming out this year? I can't remember. Let me just have a look at that because I didn't think about Happy Land. Let's see. Happy Land. Mm, it's coming out in April. The 8th of April, 2025. I totally forgot about that one, but that could have been great for the new releases. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. It could be interesting, this one. Yeah, it could be interesting, this one. Yeah, I'll have to keep that one in mind. Happy Land. It's got like 4.52 stars on Goodreads so far. But yeah, that's a really good one. Thanks, Mary. That Happy Land is coming out in April. I totally forgot because there's a lot of books coming out this year. All at all moments during the year. So keeping up with all of it is gonna become challenging because I think there's also um Bernice on McFadden's book is coming out in March, I think it is, and it's called Firstborn Daughter. I think that is coming out. I'm not sure when in March, but I know it's in March. Then we have Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's book is coming in March, I think. What else? There's a lot of good ones coming out. Let's see. Oh, okay. Um, so yeah, so that's pretty much it. I tried to show you some things that I think that you didn't know, but I think a lot of things you do know. Um, yeah, I mean the bingo card is made for that. I mean you don't have to do it just in February. You can use it as a way to reading of Black books throughout the year. So it's just an idea to get you to read things that are maybe outside of what you're actually thinking, or maybe to reach for some books on your shelves that you've forgotten about, because that's often the case. Is that when we start to dig, that's when we start to find shit. So that's usually the problem. No problem. You're very welcome, Share. Thanks for staying and watching. Have a great weekend. The bingo card is on my post on my community page. It's on the community page, and I think I put it also on my IG. If you can't find it, I'll send you one, Armalola. I'll send you one if you can't find it. But yeah, so this has been fun. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna get back to my reading of Country Place here, which I have been enjoying much, along with a different drummer. And I hope you guys have a great weekend and that you get some good reading done at the very end of the month of February, because we still have a whole week left, y'all. It's just weird. It's like, I don't know. The month is passing in a weird way because I still have a lot of trouble realizing we still have 1 week left in February. That's just crazy to me. So enjoy, have a great Friday, great weekend, and I see you. Yes, these are saved. These are saved. You can go back and you can look at them. They're saved every week. So yeah, it does. I mean, 'cause it seems really long to me because I'm thinking, like, I'm getting ready to do Saturday and be doing lives, a live for Country Place, and then we're doing a live, well, not a live, but we're doing a Zoom for the book club on Patreon on Sunday. And so it just feels like the end of the month, but like, damn, we got one whole week left. Got to get with it. So yes, you can watch it and rewind and all that, on your time. Um, I'll see you tomorrow, Michael. Thanks for watching. So yeah, so it's saved. So no problem, Mila. You'll be able to, catch up with that. Alrighty, bye y'all. Ciao.